Okay, I would like to talk about the Randy Weaver situation today. Now, I talked about the LA riots, the Korean merchant shooting the black girl, so that was a classical thing. The reason why I'm talking about this is A, Fox Nation had a special on it. Fox Nation is an online service you pay for once a year rather, and it gives you special documentaries that aren't on regular Fox News. And also, a lot of gun owners hold Randy Weaver up as a poster child for government oppression. Okay, let's talk about that. Randy Weaver was a Green Beret in the 1960s. He was a Green Beret, but he did not deploy further away than North Carolina. He married a woman. They would eventually have 4 children. He was a uber religious nut. A lot of people believe she was pushing him a little bit to be uber religious. They believed in that end of days, wrath of God, welcome to them bullshit. And they bought a cabin in Idaho, sort of right by the Canadian border, like way in the middle of fucking nowhere, on a mountain, miles away from civilization. It was very, very, very isolated. Okay, no plumbing, no electricity, no nothing. Okay, they were in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I was early on. He was interviewed by the Secret Service for threatening the governor, President Reagan, and Pope John Paul II. Now, let's face it, a lot of us today are on social media and we get real mad and we say, fuck you, or some, you fucking piece of shit, hope you die, okay? We've all gotten mad like that, or someone's gotten mad at us like that. And typically the server tells you that's a bad word, don't say it again, you're in trouble. And every once in a distant blue moon you hear that the police actually came to someone's house because someone got really mad and made a threat online. Now keep in mind that this era is an era where you have to actually write down things on paper and mail them. Also keep in mind in Randy Weaver's case, in the middle of nowhere, he had to physically get in a car and drive for miles to find the mailbox. So for him to actually be caught threatening 3 people like that, that's sitting down and thinking about real long. Okay? He didn't just fire off an angry tweet. He was interviewed by the Secret Service. Now, around the same time, the white nationalists, white separatists are coming to town. These are people who believe in separations of the races, and a lot of people do believe that Randy Weaver himself believed in separation of the races, where white states and black states, which is unconstitutional from our point of view, okay, in this country. And the Turner Diaries was a book that was an adventure story written by a guy named William Pierce under the pen name Andrew McDonald about a war against the government where the people overthrow the U.S. government and they also destroy Israel because fuck Israel, right? And it was a very, very racist book, race-inspired, inspired Tim McVeigh. In fact, Tim McVeigh did not learn how to make bombs in the army. He learned how to make that bomb by reading this book. So a lot of that is going on around this time of year, around this time period in history. Coincidentally, very close with Randy Weaver's. Okay? And some of these guys were robbing banks, federal crime, to raise money for weapons, explosives, shit like that, because they really were going to blow the government. Not a joke. This is not a fucking joke, people. And Randy Weaver has a friend who tells him, let's go to one of these rallies. Okay? Now, what did Randy Weaver see at the rally? We don't know. What did Randy Weaver believe at the rally? We don't know. Did Randy Weaver sympathize with these guys? We don't know. But Randy Weaver meets a guy. And the guy said, I would very much like you to cut 2 shotgun barrels, a single shot and a pump shotgun, cut them down for me to a few inches. Now, a rational person is thinking what? Are your arms broken? An even more rational person is thinking, I don't agree with that law, but I'm not going to go to prison for it. And the guy was going to pay Randy Weaver $600. Now, instead of paying $400 and waiting 4 months, he figures I'll pay $600 to Randy Weaver and I get it right away. So Randy Weaver, for $600 cash, cuts these barrels down. Sometime later, he's driving with his wife to the store down the mountain. They see a car pulled over. They get out of the car to help people. It's an ATF trap. He gets hauled in, and the ATF tells him that guy with the shotguns He's our guy. You committed a federal crime. Now, entrapment. Pause. Entrapment does not mean, okay, entrapment means that you were coerced into committing a crime you probably would not have committed. The simple fact of offering the crime is not entrapment. Example, if you ask a cop for a cigarette and the cop hands you a Marlboro out of a Marlboro pack and says, aha, that's marijuana, you're under arrest. That's entrapment. Because you probably wouldn't have done it. I had a professor who was I had for one law class and my bachelor's degree. She was a New York City cop, prosecutor, defense attorney. And she had a car, put a Christmas gift in it, hid, and when someone broke into it, she arrested them. And the guy went to court, and the guy said, I was trapped. And the judge said, who told you to break into cars? So just because the offer is made does not mean you're entrapped. You can say no. And Randy Weaver could have said no and should have said no. So they tell him, okay, you got two choices. Do you want to go to court, or do you want to be an informant? Just go to the rallies and tell us about bombs, terrorism, and shit like that. We don't care about white power. We don't care about bullshit. We only care about crimes. So go to these rallies. If you see a crime, report back to us. No. Okay, option A, we're going to court. He goes to court, federal court, and the judge says you have violated NFA, blah, 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 blah. You are, blah, 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 you're charged. Okay. Now, bail. When you are arrested, you are in jail. And you must stay in jail and go to court during the day. Now, bail means you get to go home at night. You still need to come to court, but you can go home at night. In order to get bail, you have to give the judge something. It could be the deed to your house. It could be your car. It could be a lot of cash. It could be a safety deposit box key. It could be gold coins. You give the judge something of value. And the judge will hold that item of value until your case is settled. After your case is settled, guilty or innocent, he gives your item back. If you don't come to court, he keeps your item. Plus, he has you arrested. Randy Weaver's wife comes in and gives the judge the deed to their house, on the condition that Randy Weaver will go home and live in the house, but come to court on the date he's told to. Okay? Now, simple. I heard someone tell me in an article, they said that Randy Weaver got the wrong court date. I don't believe that. I don't. We'll get to that in a minute. The court date that the judge has arrives. Randy Weaver is supposed to come to court. He's not there. The judge issues a warrant. And because it's a federal case, the warrant is given to the U.S. Marshal Service. U.S. Marshals know about the gun charge. They know that he threatened the president, the Pope, the governor, and they watch him. And they don't want to hurt the family, more on that later. And they're watching him I think they're watching him for a solid week. And they're figuring out what to do, how to trick him out of the house, how to trick his dogs. They're throwing rocks in the fucking house to get the dog startled. Okay, around this time, it is Geraldo Rivera. Yes, Geraldo Rivera, Fox News. Geraldo Rivera rides in a civilian helicopter over the compound, and it is believed at the time he is shot at. We later find out he was not shot at, but that's what they believed. And the marshals lose their patience. They're doing surveillance, cameras, guys with binoculars, all fucking 9 yards. They lose patience. What do? Simple. They go to the property, 3 marshals. 2 with AR-15s, 1 with AR-9. And they're camouflaged, decked out of the bullshit. Randy Weaver's dog barks and runs. Is he smelling food? Is he smelling a federal agent? We don't know. He runs off. Randy Weaver goes after him. Sam Weaver, 14 years old, goes after him. And Kevin Harris goes after him. Kevin Harris was like a family friend, sort of a loner, who lived at the house. He was about 24 years old at the time. There's a wide trail. Randy Weaver goes one way. Dog, Sam, Kevin, other way. Dog, Sam, Kevin trio runs into the 3 agents in the woods with the camouflage. It is believed the agents fired first. We'll never know. It is believed the agents shot and killed the dog. It is also believed that Sam Weaver, holding a Mini 14, fired back. It is also believed Kevin Harris, holding a Lee Enfield bolt action, fired back. 19 bullets are exchanged, and at the end of that, the boy is shot in the back and killed, probably by running away, who knows. The dog is dead, and Kevin Harris kills a federal agent. Federal agents drag their man away. Kevin Harris, the dog's dead body, and the boy's dead body there. Randy Weaver comes, son's dead, dog's dead. He drags the son to the shed. Very next day, there's an order issued. And the order is any armed adult seen outside of the house is to be shot at. It will be the most controversial order ever issued in the 20th century. FBI snipers in the woods with a .308. He shoots Randy Weaver with a rifle. Shoots him in the shoulder, knocks him down. Randy Weaver's wife appears at the door of the cabin. Get in the house, get in the house, get in the house, get in the house. Randy Weaver crawls forward. And Randy Weaver, Kevin Harris, preteen daughter Sarah, mother, holding 10-month-old baby, are in the doorway converged. Another bullet is fired by the agent. Mother dies. Now, my professor, the Virginia State Trooper, told me, if a bad guy is shooting at you and there's an innocent person behind them, don't shoot back. I don't give a fuck what the order is. If you look through that scope and you see a 10-month-old baby, you might think the mother's just as bad as the father. You might think the twin girls were fanatic. You know Kevin Harris is dangerous. But for you to fire a bullet in the direction of a 10-month-old baby is 100%, no questions asked, wrong. The state tried to prosecute the agent, but the prosecutor declined because he thought the government was too powerful. That was wrong. He should not have done that, period. So now Randy Weaver's got a bullet in his arm. His wife is dead. He's in the cabin. Several days go by. At the bottom of the mountain, we have convergence of every white nationalist in 1,000 miles. They're screaming white power. They're saying baby killers. They're saying race traitors, okay? Timothy McVeigh is there himself. Okay, several guys are arrested for trying to smuggle weapons up to the cabin. And a guy named Bo Grise shows up. Bo Grise was one of those third-party presidential candidates, but he was also a colonel in the Green Berets, highly decorated in combat in Vietnam. He agrees to have a parlay, and he goes up the mountain and convinces the entire family to surrender. They do peacefully. Randy Weaver and Kevin Harris are arrested. Now, Randy Weaver was charged with failing to appear. When you are called to court, criminal court, there are 3 excuses. If you are in the bathroom at the courthouse when your name is called, and you come back in later and find out your name is called, it's forgivable. You gotta go, you gotta go. If you're in the hospital and able to come to court, it's forgivable. If you're dead, it's forgivable. That's it. They don't care about your wedding. They don't care about a funeral, someone else's funeral. They don't care about the Super Bowl. They don't care about anything at all. When you're summoned to court, either in the basement at the courthouse, you're in the hospital, or you're dead. That's all they want to know. So Randy Weaver is charged with failing to appear. Now, when you're talking about failing to appear, that's a pretty penny, right? You're talking about failing to appear, violating the NFA Act, a conspiracy against the government, and accessory to murder. Kevin Harris tried murder. That's a pretty expensive legal bill. The jury convenes, and the jury is local guys who sympathize with him. And remember I said it's not entrapment to simply offer to make the crime? Well, the jury sees differently. And the jury says, we don't like the government. We think he was trapped. Not guilty. Murder. Not guilty. Accessory to murder. Not guilty. Okay? Conspiracy. Not guilty. Failure to appear. Guilty. 18 months federal prison. Felony. Why? Because you could argue that the government entrapped him. Fine. You could argue that Kevin Harris thought the guys were terrorists and not government agents. But what you can't argue is that Randy Weaver was not in court. You cannot argue that. You can't. He wasn't in court. That can't be argued. So now, and the reason why I say that he did not get a wrong court date is because if you get the wrong court date, they'll either excuse it or drop the charges. He was under surveillance for a week. He never bothered to come down for court. He wasn't talking to his lawyer, okay? He had no intention of going in. None. Now, he was only charged with violating the NFA Act, and he ended up being found not guilty of that. The only charge was failure to appear. Now, he's got a lengthy legal bill for all these crimes that the defendant had a defendant for him, okay? Plus his dog is dead, plus his wife is dead, plus his son is dead. Plus, he gets about 18 months in federal prison away from his family. Yes, he got $3 million in a lawsuit, but so what? What should he have done? Well, first and foremost, he could have A, not gone to the rally, B, told the federal agent, I'm not doing that, it's illegal, okay? Or C, when he did do it, he could have cooperated and spied on them. Or D, he could have sued the federal government in the Supreme Court to have the NFA declared non-void, because that'll happen, right? Or E, he could have gone to court legally and fought the case criminally. I plead not guilty, I demand the jury. And if he went to court like he was supposed to, and if he pled not guilty and demanded a jury, guess what? He would have beat that charge. So all because he did not go to court and appear. That's the only reason. Now, is the NFA unconstitutional? Yes. Okay. Were the 3 agents in the field wrong? Maybe they thought the dog was attacking them. Maybe they wanted to shoot the dog for annoying them. Maybe they were evil. We don't know. But they would not have been there if Randy had surrendered. Okay? If Randy Weaver had gone to court like he was supposed to and fought the case like a man, those guys would not have been there. That order to shoot would not have been given. Okay? Now, what Randy Weaver could have done if he really, really wanted to fight real bad, he could have pulled Kevin Harris aside and said, where do you stand? Okay? Then he could have taken his kids, his wife, his dog, put them in a car, and told them, you drive out of here. I'm going to make my stand against the government. You get away from me. Go far away. Okay? Washington. Okay? Did Washington have a wagon full of women and children when he rode through the battlefield? No. If you believe the government is wrong, you fight. You should fight legally in court, like with your lawyer, like you should. But if you want to make a stand, you make a stand by yourself. Okay? The fact that Randy Weaver refused to go to court, now, there were many problems. The judge should have taken Randy Weaver's guns away. Huh? Randy Weaver was on bail. When you're on bail, you're not free. The bail is under the condition that you will follow several guidelines. Most federal judges take away your passport. They sometimes put an ankle bracelet on you. They should take away your guns because you were under arrest. Okay? You're being charged with a crime. You're out on bail. You are by definition under arrest. You're under arrest in your house, but you're under arrest. The judge could have taken his guns away. Okay? What they do is they take your stuff away from you, your guns, your passport, okay, your stuff like that. They freeze your bank accounts, make sure you can't take out a lot of money and go run somewhere. And then when the case is settled, if you beat the case, they give everything back. If you get convicted, they give everything back except your guns. Okay? If the judge took his guns, this wouldn't have happened. Wrong. Federal agents should never, ever, ever have fired at Vicky, at anybody, while the baby was in sight. Period. Okay? Period. But it all could have been avoided had he fought legally. Now, Eric, Chad, and Tim, they believe the bump stock ban is wrong. Okay, cool. What did they do? They got lawyers. They went to Gun Owners of America, and they and a lot of other guys are fighting it in where? In court. Okay, they're fighting in court. Okay, now, do I see Eric making fucking bump stocks in his garage and hold up in his house? No. Do I see Eric or Chad or Tim or nothing fancy or anybody else putting their wives and their children in front of them? No. Randy Weaver believed so strongly that the government was wrong, he was willing to kill his entire family to a point. Okay? His son, his dog, and his wife died because he did not have the balls to fight legally, and he didn't have the balls to send them away to fight the old-fashioned way. Okay? So the story of Randy Weaver tells us flat out, if you believe the government is wrong, you have a right to fight. You should start by fighting with your legal options. But if you feel so strongly you want to fucking rebel, you're not going to go to court, you're going to hole up in your house, you do it yourself. Okay? Randy Weaver is a fucking punk. Okay? Because he could have anytime stopped it. When his son was shot, his dog was shot, okay, he should have put his hands on top of his head and went down the mountain and said, I surrender. My son died and I want answers for that, but I surrender. I'm not going to continue this. Okay? You had Native American war chiefs who were 1,000,000% right when the government took their land. They were 1,000,000% right. They went to the mountains and they fought by themselves. And there were several occasions where the women and the children were suffering, and the men say, you know what? We don't want our women and children to suffer anymore. We don't want this anymore. And they surrendered to the government because they didn't want to watch the women and children starve anymore. There was a scene in 1987's Masters of the Universe. Yeah, we're going to go there. Okay? Where they're on planet Earth and they're fighting, and Skeletor tells He-Man to surrender or he'll kill innocent people. And He-Man surrenders. Yeah, okay. And he says, as he's being taken away, this is our fight. I don't want innocent people to die. Okay? If it's your fight, it's your fight. Okay? You don't want innocent people to die. So if your wife, your children, your dog, okay, if they're with you while you're fighting, they're going to die too. Okay? If he had surrendered peacefully the first time, it wouldn't have happened. iPad being backed up, sorry. If he surrendered the first time, it wouldn't have happened. If he saw his son get killed and said, you know what, I'm surrendering. I'm not going to let my other kids get killed. My son is dead. My dog is dead. I'm not going to watch other innocent people die. I'm going to put my hands on my head and go on the hill and surrender. Okay? I'm going to ask for an investigation on my son's death. Why was my son killed? Why was my dog killed? What happened? This firefight? Why did it happen on my property? But in the meantime, I'm going to surrender. Because the government wants me. They want me in jail. And I'd rather go to jail myself than watch my wife be next, watch my kids be next, okay, what other kids, okay, my baby, okay. He is unrepentant. He's in his 70s now. He has no shame in what he did. None. He didn't say, you know what, I shouldn't agree to do that. You know what, I should have surrendered. Okay? If he surrendered, it would have all been over. Yes, the government's wrong a lot of times. Yes, the government made mistakes here. But when you put your family in danger, don't forget, you're a federal defendant with a federal weapons violation on your record. Okay? You threatened the president. You threatened the pope. You threatened the governor. Okay? You don't go to court when you're supposed to. How the fuck do you think the judge is going to react to that? You honestly believe the judge is not going to come after you? That's his fucking job. He's the judge. That's his job. His duty is to make sure you come to fucking court. You can come to court with your lawyer. You can plead not guilty. You can ask for a jury. But you come to fucking court. And when you don't come to court, they come after you. And I've had the warrant squad on my block where I'm working at. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, whoever the fuck they're after better surrender, because I don't want the kid to be hurt. I got an apartment building there full of kids. Okay? I got the warrant squad there. They gotta take a guy in, they gotta take him in. Not my problem. That's between him and the judge, not me. But I gotta make sure no kids are in the way. You comprende? Si comprende. Thank you.